Another question I wanted to pick your brain with.
Sure.
So if we are actually going to stick to this Ronnie Ball formation where we are going to end up using a number 10, if we're not throwing Ring up there and we don't have Maxi available, who is your go-to number 10 in this moment?
The funny thing is, this season was like lower stakes than it currently is, which is a funny thing to think about. I actually think Medina, we would try and figure that out with Medina.
Yep.
Because the guy receives the ball extremely well. Like compared to the MLS average for his subset, he receives the ball extremely well. He gets into good spaces, he finds good runs, he finds the negative space to get the ball. But the issue is once he gets it, it's a cluster. Like he gets run over, he's not physical enough. His passing hasn't been great this year. So I think the stakes were lowered, Medina. But like my current, dream and wish is that Keaton Parks is allowed to play as a 10.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in this system where it seems the 10 is the first presser, not like a creative force. Again, without Maxi. And so Keaton has the physical skills, Keaton has the short passing skills, and the pressure skills to make it work. So, if it's not Ring, if it's not Maxi, definitely not Medina playing at the 10 spot right behind a Bear, I would prefer it to be Keaton Parks because I think he has the tools. It also clears up our defensive midfield problem where we have too many players to play,
Right. Actually, I don't think Keaton was one of the options that we looked at, although that's a good shout. And this is kind of where me and Justin sort of bash heads on is I don't rate Medina that well.
Sure.
Although after today, I think we saw in this Revs game that Alex Ring is not the replacement for Maxi in that 10 role.
Yeah.
And what I sort of questioned last week on our episode was, is this a role that potentially we could fit Matrita into? Somebody who's, sort of lost in the lineup. Traditionally with us, he's always played out on that wing.
Yeah.
And, we've seen very short bursts of production last season, not so much this season. It's potentially, if we were to try him there, if we could get some production out of him in that position.
Yeah, I mean, I come from the camp, and you talk to the other outfield guys, they'll tell you that I think Matrita is like the purest winger we have.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's crazy to put him in the middle of the field, especially with his dribbling habits.
Okay.
And his, he can be a little bit of a black hole, kind of like David Villa was,
Yep.
where it's like, if he gets that ball, he's shooting probably like 65 to 80% of the time.
Yep.
And I don't know if that's what a playmaker is. But it's not a bad idea. And it's also, if you think about it from a roster construction point of view, we've put a lot of resources into him. So, like, if he can't, play our most important offensive position, then, like, what are we doing? If we're going to play a formation where Mata and Tinnerholm are tasked with providing our width, having a literal winger who likes to have his feet on the touchline, like 75% of the game, that being Matrica, it just seems like a car accident waiting to happen on the wing over and over again.
Right.
So I don't mind moving Matrica to the middle. I just don't know. I have just as mixed feelings about him playing there as Medina. Obviously, the failures would be different, but there would still be failure there for me.